Hey, and welcome. I'm Lindsay from Mystic Haven Acres, and this is my podcast, Living for Real. Thanks for joining me. I'm here to share my experiences as someone who never quite fit in and shed some light on life's simple and not so simple things. A single mama, born and raised in the GTA, now living a peaceful, rural homesteading life with my kids and critters, and I can't wait to share with you some of the magic I have learned along the way. I pride myself in real living, real food, real conversations, and real experiences. So leave your preconceived notions at the door and buckle up. This free spirit is about to take you for an interesting ride. Hey, so welcome back. I think this is episode 9 of the Living for Real podcast. And so when I started the idea of this podcast, I kind of threw around a bunch of ideas about what I was going to talk about. And one of the things on my idea map was the teachings by nature, or teachings of nature, or however you want to put that. Basically, the things that nature can teach us. And I was doing chores yesterday morning, and I was out, and the sun was beautiful. It's feeling like spring. The snow is melting. And I was just watching my animals, and everybody was kind of standing there soaking up the sunshine. And it hit me, as it often does when I'm outside doing chores. Lots of things hit me. I don't know. But yesterday, it hit me as I watched them, and I was like, yeah, self-care. They get it. You know, they just do it. They just take the time. They lay down in that soft bed of hay and just soak up the sun, soak up the energy, and it's so needed. And you know, they don't ask permission. They don't go out and spend thousands of dollars at the spa. They don't do any of that. They just take the time they need when they need it as the opportunities arise. And I think it's a great reminder for us. The animals have so much to teach us. And I think about how complicated humans have made existence and life. And every time I look back at the animals, I remind myself that it's not supposed to be so difficult, so complicated. Life is actually quite simple if you let it be. And it's funny because man, human, whatever, has created time. And we created time to, keep track of things and try and make things run more smoothly, right? We've got business hours, we've got appointments, we've got school hours, all those things that might kind of be difficult if we didn't have time. That said, I think maybe we've grown to operate too much around the clock and around time. And what I mean by that is, if you look at animals, again, animals don't go, oh, it's 7 o'clock, I need to have breakfast, or I should have breakfast. They don't do that. They wake up when they wake up, and they eat when they're hungry, and they rest when they're tired. And I think as humans, we forget this, we just kind of ignore it. We put everything aside of our instinctual self, and we operate around a clock. And like I say, there are definitely things where a clock makes life easier, maybe. I hate to say it like that because I don't know that it's actually easier. I mean, we've grown to believe that it makes life easier, but it goes so far against our instinctual knowing, right? You know, how many times have you said to yourself, I'm so tired, but I can't sleep because it's only 2 o'clock, or it's only 6 o'clock, or it's only 8 o'clock, or whatever it is, right? How many times have you done that? I know I've done it more so in the past than I do now. I try really hard now to lean into my intuition and to listen to my intuition. And if I'm tired, I don't fight that if I can help it. If I have this space to go lie down and have a nap, I will totally do that. If I have the space to go to bed early, I will do that. I try really hard to listen to that instinct. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. The less you fight yourself, right? The less yeah buts come up. The other thing I want to talk about self-care is how I really feel like so many things, self-care has really been commercialized, right? We hear about, I don't know, self-care is like a big thing, especially now, it seems. And, you know, there's all the, well, you should buy this yoga package, or you should go sit in a, what are those, water bath, the zero gravity, you know, those things. Or go take a vacation, go sit on a beach somewhere, you know, some tropical destination. Go to the spa, get your nails done. All these advertised self-care things available to us. But at what cost, right? All of these things cost money. And what I find interesting is it's not that necessarily that these things cost money, but that, one, how many people indulge in these costly self-care practices only to not actually feel better more than temporarily, and sometimes even very temporarily. Think about when you go away on vacation. I know a lot of people personally that even on vacation, they're still working, they're still on, they're not actually relaxed, they're not actually absorbing the self-care. And then they go back to work and it's 10 times worse than when they left because they haven't been there for a week and now they've got 10,000 fires to put out. So it's things like that. And also the other thing is drinking, right? I don't know that it still is because I don't drink anymore. So I'm kind of out of the loop. But I know for a while there, you know, the mummy wine thing was a big thing, right? And years ago, I too was indulging in that occasionally. I was never a big drinker, but there were definitely times, I know, I look back at my Facebook memories and it's like, really needed this glass of wine. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because so many of these quote unquote self-care practices are actually really counterproductive. Like the wine drinking, right? You're adding toxins to your body. Depending on how much wine you're drinking, you might be experiencing hangover later. So though you might get relief in the moment, long term, you're not doing yourself any favors. And I'm going to go back to those vacations. Not only is it super temporary and sometimes not even fully in entirety self-care, like I say, if you're still working while you're away or worrying about work while you're away, or like you come back and it's like tenfold, how much self-care have you actually done? On top of that, did you go further into debt to take that vacation? I know not everybody does, but there are a lot of people out there that do, right? They need a vacation so badly that they will go into debt for a time to indulge in that quote unquote self-care. Other types of self-care that I find are toxic are those friendships and relationships where you think it's self-care because you're getting out and you're socializing, but the friendships and relationships might not be healthy ones. And so, again, temporarily, you feel better, you're out, you're doing things, but what is the aftermath of that? Are there repercussions? Is there guilt? Is there shame? That's why I say it's counterproductive. It may appear or feel like self-care in the moment, but is it actually? So if we go back to the animals laying in the soft hay, soaking up the sun, they're re-energizing, right? They're recovering, they're rebuilding, they're soaking up the energy of the sun, they're soaking up that warmth, they're taking that time to rest. They don't feel guilty about it, right? They do it unapologetically, and when they're recharged, they get up and they move on with their day. And it's so simple. It's literally sitting in the sun, soaking up the sun. And I mean, that's not the only thing. But that was the thing that stuck out yesterday when I was doing chores. And that's the thing that I wanted to share because I think a lot of people can understand that, right? I think a lot of people can understand the power of feeling the sun on your skin and the benefit of that and what it does for you. Self-care doesn't have to be a commercialized event. Meditation can be done at home, can be done anywhere. It's not something that's going to be out of pocket. It's just something that you practice to bring yourself some peace and maybe some clarity, which I think all of us can use now and again. The other big thing, again, is rest, right? Rest is a huge self-care thing that is, I don't know, overlooked, maybe. We'll sit down on the couch and, though I don't watch, again, something else that I don't do much of anymore, sit down on the couch and watch TV. It's a rare occurrence around here, but I know it's very common for a lot of people, right? Zone out in front of the TV. And yet, what we probably really need is just to go to sleep, right? Just to go get some rest, just to shut down and let our cells and let our body rebuild, recover. Water, of course. We always hear about water. I think the jury's out right now on the water situation, though. Plain old water is not necessarily what it's been made out to be. But we have to stay hydrated. And with that, we need the electrolytes as well. So not just plain old water, but just nourishing our bodies properly, right? Not feeding our body with toxins. Eating real, raw, nutritious food to fuel our bodies, to allow for repair. Our bodies need good building blocks and material to be able to rebuild, right? If it just has a bunch of garbage being fed to it, it's kind of hard to build new cells, new quality cells that are going to serve you if they're working with garbage. So that all stemmed from me watching the horses sunbathing yesterday. And that's just one teaching from nature. I mean, there are so many, and over the course of this podcast, I will definitely touch on more of them. Again, if you take the time to notice, if you get into nature and you actually be where you are and you allow yourself to see, to really truly see, it's amazing the lessons that are there for us. I hope the sun is shining where you are, and I hope you can soak some of that good energy up, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much for listening in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review and share with your friends and family. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.